Welcome to MSP Unplugged, episode number 21, Business as Usual. I'm your host, Jeff Halash. This is our live show where we discuss different ways to run your IT business, whether it's managed services, consulting, break fix, or anything in between. Let me introduce our co-host. We have Kyle Kenyon from Pro Tech Guy, right, Kyle? Oh, I think you're muted. And you're still muted.
Off to a good start. That is me, the tech guy who can't unmute his microphone.
And you're still muted. That must be looping back through their
the tech guy
video.
can't unmute his microphone.
And you're still muted. That's weird.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, excellent.
All right, we're gonna try that again. We have Kyle Kenyon from Pro Tech Guy.
Awesome. That is me. How's it going, everybody?
It's going great, man. And also, we have Jason Miller from Unbound Digital. Jason, how you doing?
Hey, you're doing pretty good. Can't complain.
And we have Corey Kirkendoll from 5K Technical Services. Corey, how you doing?
Doing well, Jeff, man. Thanks for having us tonight.
Good to have you. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to share a tip or a story that we could learn from. And I'm going to kick it off to Kyle.
All right. I think probably one of the biggest stories that and kind of tips that I've learned over this whole situation that all of us are going through is not only is this a good time to focus on things that I haven't been able to get done in the business, but also to really work on that work-life balance thing. I recently discovered that I want to have the best lawn in my neighborhood, and I've gone down this crazy rabbit hole of lawn care. And it's really been a nice thing to kind of get away from the business on the weekends and when I get home and things like that. So it's something we can do as a family. And it's been fun for me. But also being able to jump back in the Monday through Friday when I get back to work and focus on things in the business.
That's a good tip. Yeah, there's a lot I learned a lot over the 7 weeks that I was actually laid off. And I enjoyed every single minute of it. And I know we've gotten on this path talking about lawn care. Obviously, weather's getting nice outside in most areas now. And me and my family, we just put 12 yards of mulch down yesterday in the flower beds, and that was fun. And we're always laughing because it took us like 6 hours to get it done. And for a lot of people, we had it dumped at the end of our driveway and couldn't get the cars out or anything. But it's one of those things where we just kind of got started and got it done. And a lot of times we'll see in our neighborhood, a lot of times people have the mulch dumped and it's there for like a week. They're working on it for a week. So we were pretty excited. There was 4 of us, my wife and 2 boys that are left here. We were able to get it done, and it was a good time. Plus, got that good vitamin D from the sun, and good
Absolutely.
exercise, and nice and sore the next day.
I always tell people I'm either stuck behind my desk or behind someone else's desk. So it's good to get out and enjoy that.
That is a good point. Yes. Definitely find things that make your life enjoyable. And you know what? A lot of people will look at that as work, but at the end of the day, we all like the end result and what it looks like, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. And Jason Miller, what do you have for us this week?
If I had to say anything, I'd say walkthroughs are mandatory. So this past week, we always do walkthroughs. I don't know what it is, but the one time you don't do a walkthrough because the guy's like an hour away, talk to him on the phone, ask all the questions. Yeah, the only software we got is, Autodesk Fusion 360 and QuickBooks, and I'm buying the new version. Okay, make sure you have it before we get there that day. Okay, any other printers, copiers, other software? No, just QuickBooks, Autodesk, Fusion 360. Cool. So we're replacing 4 PCs and adding a PC as a faux server, just work group server. So we put all that stuff in the car. A couple of our guys take off down there. They called me about an hour later, cussing me. Not really cussing me, but pretty upset. Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a mess. You should have walked through this and seen what's going on. Every time we don't do a walkthrough, it's always a problem. So so this is an engineering company. Huge, they have a bunch of machining centers. CAD CAM software. I asked this guy like multiple times, is there any other software that you use? No. come to find out, I think there's 18 pieces of software we had to install. Some of it ancient, some of it new. So it was kind of a pain. And of course, the QuickBooks he was supposed to have the day we got there, halfway through the day, one of my guys asking for it. Oh, I haven't bought that yet. So it's like, okay, great. So they call me up. I put in the order through our vendor. Of course, the key can be there 24 to 48 hours later. Luckily we got it later that day. Our guys through remotes, instant house calling all the machines for a one-off customer, and was able to jump back in there later at night and finish it. But man, his walkthroughs are mandatory from now on. Even if they're an hour away, just go do it.
Yeah, that would definitely make life a lot easier. And you should have known just from the fact that being an engineering company, everything now, I just offended a bunch of engineers all over the world, but in engineers' minds, it looks good to them, but they don't really see everything. They have this, they're in their own little world. I'm just going to say it that way. And it's not a bad thing. It's just the way their brain works. They're not always going to see the things that are on the periphery, the things that are important. But I think in general, that goes for a lot of people, a lot of our customers out there. Hey, how old's your computer? Oh, it's a couple years old, and you get it, and it's 7 years old. It's never, I always look at things and I go, whatever they're telling me, I'm generally going to double it, if not triple it in a lot of cases, because that's, I've been doing this for a long time, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
You do know I used to be in mechanical engineering, right? So,
well,
actually, I was.
Sorry. My son-in-law is a mechanical engineer, so I get it. And know what? They just, in a general sense, a lot of them just think a little bit differently. No,
nah. This guy was way off. And the sad part is in my previous engineering job, I actually worked with this guy. So, I thought I trusted a little bit better and stuff. And our help desk, 2 or 3 of our help desk guys were constantly on the phone all day long with this guy with like little minor problems the next day, remoting in, fixing this, his Office 365 migration, whole new computer set up, UPS World Ship, FedEx Ship Manager, the 2 worst things. If you stick a fork in your eye, that's one of the things you stick a fork in the eye for. So, 2 of the worst things in the world, those 2 pieces of software. But, our 2 guys were able to get it. Then the help desk kind of beat it up the next day. So, if we planned a little better, we probably just took his Windows 7 machines to Windows 10 and then just cloned them. No redo of software and all that stuff needed. We've done that in the past for a lot of our other clients that as we went from Windows 7 to Windows 10, we'll just upgrade them to 10, using the little, just general upgrade key from Microsoft. And then once you get there, you just clone it to the new machine. Good, ready to rock and roll. So
that's a good point. Yeah, there's, I guess when you look at these situations too, it's always something. Now you've set firmly in your mind that you are going to do a walkthrough no matter what, because after you get bit a couple times, you're at the point where you're like, well, you know what? I've seen it this way, and I'm just not going to take people's word for it. Not that it's not that people are trying to be disingenuous. It's just they don't really pay attention to the details, and that's what we're coming in to take care of the details. And if we don't have those details, we can't do our job as effectively as if we had all that information. So, yeah. Oh, very good. All right, Corey, and what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, Jason, I think you got one of my customers because that sounds very familiar. I just had a call like that this week. Hey, we don't do nothing but this, everything's in the cloud, but we got a server on site. I'm like, what? So something was not jiving. So we know that's going to be a little challenge for us. And Kyle, for you, I tried that best looking lawn thing. We did winter grass down here in Texas. I was the only one outside mowing in the winter. I never do it again. So good luck with that. Good luck with that. For me, I spent, I think the biggest deal we did was spent a lot of time with all my employees over this time. Really engaged back into the one-on-ones to see what they were up to, how they're doing, how they're holding up, how their family is holding up to that process. So I think it gave it a really interesting thing. The team bonded really closely together, even though we were remote for a long time, but we got a chance to spend a lot of time with each other and talk. So I kicked in truly doing one-on-ones each week. I had a lot of time, no appointments, and that came out very well. So I would encourage, it's a good time to to think about what's going on, because all of them hear the news about, unemployment rates are so high, what we haven't, businesses having a challenge. So we spend a lot of time enforcing them that we're good, we're okay, keep doing what you're doing, don't slack off, let's make it happen. And it was good. So that's been really good for us.
I like that. And I've heard that story over and over again where people have taken that step back and they haven't been able to bond with their employees a lot better. And that's awesome. Because not everybody, I think when you're constantly putting fires out, it's hard to recognize that, hey, people are people and they have things that are going on even in the best of times. And a lot of times we need to, if we can dial it back a little bit and just see how people are. I think that's one of the good things that have come out of this whole thing is that people are understanding that, hey, they're actually working with real people and, and taking that time. Because I get it. We're all busy. And even since I've been back to work, my time seems crunched. So I force myself to do certain things, but I try to remember how the 7 weeks that I was laid off was like. And I try to go back and go, you know what? There's no emergencies. Everything is going to work out. We're just going to take this a day at a time, a project at a time, whatever we need to do on a regular basis, and just kind of dial it back a little bit and take that time, or hanging out with family, making a concerted effort to absolutely do that regardless of what my schedule is. You know what? Other things can be put on the back burner, but I'm going to spend time talking to my wife right now. I'm going to spend time playing games with my boys or whatever it might be, because those things are important. They're actually more important, I would say, than any of our businesses, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people, well, it's how we make money. Well, I get that. But at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice those things when it comes to the relationships in your life. So that's good. All right. And mine is, I actually got an email. And so I'm going to share this. And there is a new app out there, and it's called Tweaky. And this is from our friend over at what used to be Foolish IT, and it's now the person who made D7X. I think it's D7X toolbox. And so Nick Shaw over there has come up with a lot of great products over the years, and he's always making new things, iterating and stuff like that. But this one is, it basically, Tweaky combines the best elements of Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer. If you guys haven't checked that out, you can get that also over there. In Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 Netfix, and the best tweaks from our D7X technicians tool, and adds in other user suggestions for tweaks and branding opportunities. So Tweaky, there is a paid edition, and I think when I checked, I think it was $45, and I think he was offering a 20% discount at the time when I got this email, and I'm not sure how long that was for. This is nothing official. It's just something I found interesting. And it's basically designed to load and save your preferred tweak. So you're setting up a machine. You do the same type of tweak on this machine every time. Instead of manually going through and doing each one individually, you can basically preset it up, click a button, and you're done. There is also a free edition for evaluation or one-time usage that you can, hey, check it out, try it. What it doesn't support load or save profile functionality. So it sounds like, and I haven't played with it yet, but it sounds like you can set up different profiles with this. So if you have a certain type of computer that needs to be done in a certain type of office, you can set it up for, hey, for this type of workstation, I'm going to have this settings. For this type of workstation, I'm going to have these settings, and go ahead and load those and go to town. Yeah, you can go to d7tech.com/tweaky, and that's TWEAKY. Yeah, so basically you can apply various tweaks and customizations to every PC you work on, and you can have the flexibility of configuring different tweak profiles for different system types, all to execute with one single click. So, hey, it might save you some time. It might save you some effort once you set those things up, because I'm sure that we're all going through and manually still doing certain things when we're setting machines up. A lot of times just out of habit, because we feel that that's probably the quickest way to click versus just checking something out and downloading it and clicking a button, going to town. All right, so we're going to talk about today the title of this episode is Business as Usual. And what we want to do is we want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly that are going on in our real businesses and how things have changed or maybe not have changed or even changed for the better. So we're going to kind of get into those things. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from left to right counterclockwise. We're going to start with Jason Miller. And Jason, what are some of the things in your business that have maybe gone in not such a good way, but maybe have had a negative impact since we've been dealing with COVID-19?
Yeah, we didn't feel the effects too bad in our area. We're very low infection rates here, still are. But everybody went to the house, started working from home. All our techs, everything we have is in the cloud. So all of our software is super easy to use from home. So everybody kind of loved that. We have 14 people all together, so managing a team of all those people and keeping them all on task and things to do, because it was a lot slower than normal during that time. But we only lost one client, and then we had two clients ask for discounts. So we give them 50% discounts. One of those clients was actually, a tourist attraction in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which, they're like a trampoline park and the golf course and, one of the big fancy shows there. So since they didn't have any business, we give them a discount, and now they're back open as of this past weekend. So they're back in full force. So really and truly, I guess, project work is down. We're business IT only, but we're mainly managed services, but project work is always complementing that. So during this time, we had a Ford dealership and a Chrysler, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge dealership with the same company, and a Volvo dealership, same company that owns all those that we're in the process of cabling. 170 some cables at one, and 150 another one. And I think it's like 60 another one. So we had all these cabling jobs going on, and they kind of held back a little bit on that type of stuff. So that kind of slowed down things a little bit with our vendor that we usually use for cabling, because we don't actually do that in-house ourselves, but we subcontract that to them. And then, of course, we come in and do all the networking stuff behind it, phones, all that. But just really a lot of slowdown there. But I mean, we were able to still pay all of our guys, keep everything going. Didn't really affect us too bad, which very blessed and thankful for it. So I mean, business as usual pretty much the whole time. A lot of remote support calls, and all of our field technicians that go out in the field, or field engineers, they all did help desk work basically the whole time. So which they didn't mind. I give them a break, from running the roads, but
Well, that's good. Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of good things that that come out of that, and I think we're kind of feeling that. And we'll talk about a couple of those things too, because I find some of that pretty fascinating. Kyle, what types of things? How's your business been impacted by this COVID-19?
It has changed a lot for me. I would say if we were to kind of put a number on what my break fix and MSP side of things are, I'd say I was primarily, I'd say 60-40, 40% being that MSP side. So initially I was pretty nervous, to be honest. But it put me in a position to start focusing on those business clients. I would say in our area, I'm in Middlesex County in Massachusetts. So we have one of the highest, I think actually the highest in Massachusetts, and where last time I checked, it was like 19,000 cases. So we have a pretty good amount. Things shut down pretty quick, which scared off a lot of that kind of not only elective spending where I would sell a laptop to just kind of a walk-in client or someone migrating from an old computer, but also that kind of like, do I really want to go out and get my computer fixed and go into an office, to visit me? So that changed a lot. Break fix went from, I'd say, pretty busy for me. I'm a one-man show too, so to non-existent. I will say partially in that respect is because once our governor shut things down for non-essential businesses, I shut my break fix down and then started focusing on my essential clients, business clients, and anyone in the healthcare industry and things like that if they need something fixed on a break fix type of scenario. But I had a couple projects going, so I was happy to have those. All my business clients are still operating. They were and still are now, even as we phase into opening other businesses here in Massachusetts. But it was definitely a scary couple of weeks, but lucky enough and worked enough to put myself in a position to be okay for, given everything that's going on.
Very good. And Corey, how has your business been impacted from COVID-19?
So it hasn't been impacted a lot. We had one customer that we transitioned off and actually picked up a couple. We had a couple that we were hanging out to be onboarded, and then right in the middle of that, before we onboarded them, before they became our customer, they got hit with a pretty nasty ransomware issue. So I spent a better part of this time getting them back up and recovered. But so far, that's been really good and transition them on. The biggest challenge I think we've had is really getting everybody back in. We had a chance to focus on some processes, clean up a lot of stuff, focus on some of the low hanging fruit that we had some things that we needed to redo. And what we did was we spent most of our time actually going back and re-onboarding most of our customers to ensure that they had the right count of PCs, right count of everything was on point, and things that we wanted to transition off, we wanted to do that. Probably spent a lot of time, probably 2 or 3 times a week, as we still do today, talking to our customers regularly, calling each of them, how they're doing, how their customers are doing, how they're weathering the storm, so we can be in front of if they're starting to see any issues or having issues from their side. But what's been really good is we're able to transition pretty much all of our customers off into a remote work situation, and it worked pretty well. So I think the customer was like, man, these guys actually do know what they're talking about. It was pretty cool. But it was good. It was also good for us to know that the things that we've implemented worked well as well. So it's been good for us.
That's good. So when it comes to having remote workers, what are some of the challenges that, for those that have remote workers here, what are some of the challenges that come up for you? I know, Jason, you had touched on it a little bit, keeping everybody on task and stuff like that, but what things did you have to implement in order to make that happen?
We end up doing, project work, kind of like what Corey's talking about, re-onboarding. So we kind of ended up putting tickets in our ticket system for, just places where we were lacking. So, we were a little bit slower during that time without all the, other side of things. So, all kinds of stuff we've been wanting to do forever in our RMM system, our ticketing system, some of our processes. So really and truly going back through every single backup that we have, which is a ton of backups, for all of our customers, just to recheck, make sure everything's set up properly. Just pretty much putting in tons of tickets. We have a ton of Synology NAS equipment. So we had all of our made sure all of our RMM checks were set up with that. And then also our RAID controllers on all of our servers, go back, double check all that stuff just to make sure we're reporting, getting the right stuff. This is stuff we do on a daily basis. One of our help desk guys, we rotate it between all 4 of our help desk guys. So we use SolarWinds RMM. So one of our help desk guys is on SolarWinds all week. So any kind of checks and stuff that pops up, but they're handling the in the now stuff. They're not really going back and fixing all the stuff that really needs to be fixed or adding stuff to make it look better and to, extra checks. We do it as we onboard a client, but we haven't really made a new process to go back and kind of re-go over this stuff. And this year was one of the years I said, we're not changing anything else, nothing at all. Last year we changed so much stuff. We're going to work on processes. We're going to work on the way we do things. We're going to work on our onboarding process, our every day-to-day process, our help desk processes. So we checked out the Eureka process type stuff. Really awesome stuff for a decent price. So we just started that here recently because even though I said we're not going to change anything this year, we ended up changing stuff. So we switched voice over IP vendors, and so that's been a huge transitioning all of our current customers to our new vendor. So it's been a challenge, and my voice over IP engineer is about to kill me because we have about 30 phone systems that we've done in the past 2 weeks, and probably about 15 more to go. So it's that's in the works. So it's been a ton of phones coming in and out the door. So we're trying to work on that process because it's all new and it's white labeled. So since it's white labeled, I talked about earlier before the pre-show here that we was working on videos and video editing. So I ended up buying Camtasia, doing YouTube videos for training for our new phone system because now it's white labeled. You can't use the company's videos; you have to use your own. So we had to learn how to do all that stuff, which Camtasia is really awesome to do that with, by the way. So makes it easy. So we've done all that, trying to get our processes down because probably the first 15 phone systems we deployed was no videos or no training or nothing. And then here recently I had to have one of our guys just run back around, retrain everybody, show them the videos, give them little cheat sheet cards that go beside their phones, all that good stuff. So really trying to work on those processes and trying to get it going again is a huge thing that we've been trying to do since all this COVID stuff. So.
As far as documentation and processes go, it's probably one of those things that I would say probably most businesses, that is probably their number one pain point, I would imagine.
Yeah, and we use IT glue. So, I mean, you're trying to get people to put information in IT glue. It is the hard part,
That's always the hard part. It's not, there's a lot of great services out there. It's getting people to make sure that they do the documentation, and that has to be done manually. Somebody has to type that information in.
Yes. Yeah, and technicians, they do not like my best tech that we have. He's our server networking engineer guy. He is amazing. Can fix anything, fix any weird networking issue, firewalls, a rule. I mean, anything you want, he can fix. Paperwork, he does nothing. I've got to the point. It's like, man, write it down and bring me a piece of paper. I will put it in myself. Bring me the piece of paper, or I'll have one of the other guys do it or something. It's like, just write it down. So as I've got to the point, and we got apps on our smartphones with IT glue and everything else, but no, it's like, dude, you're standing right there. Just pop it open, enter the stuff, call it good. So
I know it sounds easy, Jason, but it sucks.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at it. I admit it. I'd just rather fix the problem. All right.
Yeah.
Corey, how about you?
Yeah. So we learned that not everybody can work from home. It's kind of a learned skill, and not everybody can do it. Everybody, we'd love for everybody to do it. Some engineers and some of the people on the team had some focus challenges, and but what we did was we really leveraged. We're a Microsoft Teams shop, so we leveraged Teams a lot. So I had daily huddles first thing in the morning every day. Team got on, synced up what we had to do. The team, had our teams set up for project teams and our services teams, as well as front of the house teams, where we would jump on the call and really work together. Got them to kind of share screens with each other. Hey, you got a problem? Okay, click open a share screen, click off a quick meeting, and kind of go in and kind of have that quick interaction like you would in the office. To be able to walk to someone's desk and say, here's what it was. So teaching them really how to engage and learn and leverage the technology, which was really good. Having our virtual one-on-ones again kind of came up really big. So every Friday kind of is where it is that's my day. I'm just back to back going through that process to make sure that we stay on task and moving through that. We actually hired a couple of people. So doing virtual onboarding was challenging. Doing the interview during a Ring Central meeting call or Zoom call, and then walking through that process. We had to come up on the fly with how we would handle that onboarding. So we did some testing and like we typically do, did all our meetings, did our interviews. And then as we brought that person on, that was even more challenging. We almost had a team session open 24 hours, 7 days a week, with that person. Watch it. It seems like Big Brother was watching, like, hey, what are you doing? Getting them up to speed, walking through what you got going on. And we came up with some really cool stuff. The team kind of came up with some really cool stuff, man, where they kind of got this. We leveraged video cameras, sent them in a packet to his house. He had it up so he could see what he was going on, and kind of had it where he could interact. And we were all kind of engaging with him, which was pretty cool, and got him up to speed pretty quick, and was able to feel like he was part of the team, and kind of walk through that. And I think the biggest challenges we're having now is how to bring everybody back into the office. And it's kind of it's hard for me being the owner to figure out what that looks like, because, I'm kind of torn, like, hey, there's something serious going on, but I also need you back in the office, and we're starting to transition in. And so right now we're slowly coming back in the office, figuring out what that looks like. We're out of the office every Friday and Monday. Tuesday through Thursday we're in, kind of working through, and just trying to go at it. So trying to predict when all of our other customers are going to start rushing back to the office, because we know that they left the monitor cables unplugged and this thing is done. We're waiting for that mess to come back, and to figure out what that is. So we're trying to identify, all right, how can we be with them, in lockstep with them, so that we know we can get over there and get them back up and running pretty quickly, because they believe they just set it back in, plug it in, it should work. But I left the HDMI cable at the house. Need that, right?
Exactly. Oh, that's good. And Kyle, you don't have any employees right now, right?
No, just me. I actually came up in one of the groups the other day what would be my first hire, and we were going back and forth between an admin or a tech, and maybe something we can chat about on here. But I've always thought it would be an admin, just because I enjoy doing that tech side and hands-on and selling. I hate being on the phone, answering emails, check-ins, check-outs. So it's definitely would love to be at that point someday to have somebody. But yeah, I didn't have to deal with putting anybody on a remote workforce now.
No, that's good. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I look at it like this. I have kids, so I have no need for employees. Free labor. Yeah, plus, I don't want to deal with all that stuff. No, actually, my 15-year-old is really kind of taken to working on machines now, and I actually have him and my 13-year-old working on some of the stuff. And I kind of gave them a basis overview, and if they get into anything complicated, they'll get a hold of me. But at this point right now, a computer comes in, and I do mostly residential work, just so everybody knows. Yeah, a computer will come in, and I go, here's what the customer said. Have at it. Like, give me a call, text me, whatever, let me know if you run into something. But they're able to run, Malwarebytes, TechBench on there and all that kind of stuff, and kind of go at least start going through the process of troubleshooting to try to figure out what's going on. So
excellent. Yeah.
But good learning experience. I forced all my kids to do things outside of the norm. My daughter made her change the oil in the car, rotate her tires, just so that she had a basis of understanding what she needed to do. She cleaned out her own trap underneath her sink in the bathroom, because I wasn't doing it, because it was disgusting. Yeah. And so I taught her how to do these things, just for the mere fact of, at least she has a basis of information. And even if she hires somebody to do that down the road, she'll know that, somebody's not just giving her a song and dance, and have an understanding of what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyways, good stuff. All right. So as far as businesses are concerned, where do you guys see the future? What's going to happen as we're moving forward with remote workforce? How customers are dealing with things, and where are we moving to? What are some of the positive things that are coming out?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I mean, we're seeing some very interesting things, right? We're seeing people are now trusting remote work and Zoom and meetings that they didn't trust before. They didn't believe that they could, really run a business and be successful at that. And what we're seeing is that I actually see a lot of people that are not renewing their leases or getting out of their leases in their office, and they're going to a lot more remote at the end of the day. So it's going to be interesting that we see that trend start to kick in, where they probably will not come back to the office at all, and they will stay remote going forward. which is pretty interesting, pretty cool, but raises some significant challenges for us as MSP. So we're spending a lot more time working through ensuring that the remote setups are up to par, make sure there's security, and then make sure they have adequate, internet and things to be productive at the house. So I see that trend kicking up higher than it ever has been before.
Now, Corey, are your customers coming to you and asking you to put spy software on their employees' computers so they can monitor exactly what they're doing?
No, I haven't got to that point yet. They haven't got to that level yet, but I assure that we've actually started to investigate several that, some work and productivity kind of deal. I think you'll see some of that, but I think for right now, it's all about their trusting, leveraging the open teams and leveraging, making sure that they have what they need. And then it's the first time in most cases that employers are starting to think about investing into their employees' infrastructure to make sure that they have what they need to be productive. I think this swung people into, hey, you just use your computer at home. What do you have? Oh, I got a Windows 95, with something on it. And that was just not happening, right? But it was good. But it also was different because work from home was not just work from home. I mean, I had kids on Google Chromes in the back, had my wife in the other room. This was a very different environment to the point where having to find that remote workplace, finding something secure, really was unique. So we definitely start to see this a lot. I think there's going to be a lot more schools from home, work from home, and this is probably going to become the norm going forward.
And just circling back to these employers that are wanting to watch over their employees, here's my take on that whole thing, and I know I'll probably get some pushback on this. If you are concerned about your employee not working or doing their job and producing by the end of the week, whatever that looks like for your business, then that employee, in my opinion, should be fired and be replaced with somebody that's going to do the job. It's really that simple. Either the job's getting done or it's not getting done. I think a lot of times these employers are like going, well, since they're not sitting in an office, I got to make sure that we're making sure that they're doing exactly what they need to do. Really? Do you? So that's just my own personal opinion on that. But
yeah, we had a company that we do, they're a large company, about 130 users. And they started off with, everybody go home and work, and some of them took their desktops home, some of them took their phones home, all that good stuff. But basically they ended up, having performance issues with some of their employees. So they asked us to, get them VPN logs. Of course, we use SonicWall. So threw up a syslog server and had it automatically emailed them the VPN logs. And within about 2 or 3 weeks, there was 3 or 4 people fired because they never logged in the VPN. So, I mean, it's like, I can't get logged in. And then, so we'd log in their computers at home, get them connected, all that good stuff. Oh, it's connecting fine. We'd use their credentials and connect from anywhere. And then they'd say, okay, I got logged in. They quit that excuse and they go to, yeah, I'm logged in. So they learned that they could log in, and they're like, oh, they'll see I'm logged in all day, but they'd log in the VPN. They'd stay just connected. They didn't do anything on their machine. So they're like, why isn't the payroll getting done? Or why isn't this accounting function getting done? And then, of course, now they got new people in their accounting department. So
see, that makes sense to me. That simple little tweak right there is going to make it so that people, again, you can see what people are doing or not doing. And obviously a job's not getting done, and they can see why it's not getting done because they're not logging in. So that's good. I like stuff like that. All right. So Kyle, what are some things that you see moving forward are going to be a positive in your business?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we're going to see more laptop sales. I think a lot of people that traditionally, a lot of my clients are on a desktop. They have a desktop at work. This is an i5, i7. They're going to do, some CAD stuff, things like that. And then being able to do that at home is going to be the next challenge, I think. Now, whatever task it is, they're going to need a device to get there. And I think we're going to see a trend towards being able to make those, whether it's a BYOD type of thing where they're going to use their laptop to do their work. We're going to have to bring those up to speed, so to speak, or get them something that is adequate to do what they need to do. I feel like we'll also see a little bit of a uptick in desktops at home, because I know a lot of the workstations that we deal with is just not going to happen on a laptop. And when it can, you're going to spend so much more. You're never going to have that dual monitor thing, and have that, crazy i9 or something in. I mean, you can obviously, but putting a desktop at home is going to be the solution for a lot of these. If they want to work from home and work from the office, I think we'll see a lot of people do this hybrid type of effect where, Monday, Tuesdays, they're going to work from home. The rest of the week, they'll work out of the office, and being able to have that same power at the house or the home office, I think is going to be something that we see. And I think that it's a good trend. I think a lot of people are coming into the they're seeing those things that we recommended 6 months ago actually be needed now, and it's nice to see that happen. That the Wi-Fi needs to be up to par at home. The access to your files in your office, that we need to move things towards the cloud, because if you're not physically in the office, you can't get to that Excel document for some of these clients.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to things like laptops, you look at how many times do you get a customer that goes, "Hey, I have a broken screen here. Can you fix this?" And you're like, "Yeah." I was talking to my wife the other day. I'm like, "In what world do we feel that it's a good idea to set an electronic glass screen on the ground anywhere?" I don't understand it. I mean, these things are not, it's not like you would think, okay, maybe somebody set it on their couch and he sat on it. Not as likely as being stepped on. All the ones I've ever seen usually are, they were on the ground, lid was closed, and a kid or whatever, or even an adult, basically stepped on this thing and just crushed it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm just like, so from that standpoint, I think working at home, I think in a lot of cases, it almost makes more sense, depending on the environment, to have a desktop, not only for the power of use, but also to stop all the damage from being done. I still can't believe there are school systems out there that actually give their kids, iPads and Google laptops and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, wow. I mean, I know they're responsible for them, and they do have to replace them if they damage them, but I'm just like, the chances of it breaking are just way higher.
Yeah, it's I always do this. When we're going to sell a computer or deal with a new client, we kind of, have this, even if it's a small onboarding, we'll have a couple of questions. And what do they want that new computer for? What do they use it for? And a lot of times, even people with a laptop, they say, "Oh, you just leave it at your desk all the time?" Well, we can get a huge bang for your buck in a desktop. If you're really, truly never going to move that, and you don't see yourself doing that in the near future, absolutely, a desktop's going to get you so much more power. And like I was saying, just these clients that need to do, kind of heavy work, that they're going to need to spend this crazy money on a laptop. And going back to that screen thing, I see these crazy scenarios that I'm like, what did you do to this computer that made this happen? And it's like, the hinges will be ripped out of the plastic frame. And it's, and I know some laptops out there, that's pretty easy to do with terrible build quality, but it's we have the conversation a lot that it's just not worth fixing, and they might have spent $500 on that laptop, and it's it's the touchscreen that's ripped out of the frame is you're looking at building a whole new computer with the parts that you need. So selling higher quality laptops to home users is going to be definitely next our biggest push.
Yeah, I don't even, when it comes to laptops, I will steer towards even for home users, either Dell refurbished and their Latitude line, which is their business line, just because it's more robust. And literally, you can step on these things a lot of times, and you're not going to break things like the hinges, and their outside cases are much more tougher. Now, with that being said, though, to get something that's going to be, in my opinion, something you're going to want to use for a laptop, that's going to give you the same usability as a desktop, you're looking at a refurbished machine that's 2 years old. You're looking at probably a minimum of still $700.
Yeah.
We're not doing a $300 Costco model, or whatever. And if you buy that computer brand new, now you're looking in the $1,200 range. So yeah, you can save some money on a refurbished computer. It's a couple years old, still in great condition. All the ones that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So that there's definitely that.
Yeah, we love the ThinkPad line. And if a lot of people can get by with a high-end ThinkPad and a dock, and those systems work pretty well for us and our customers. But it's getting that build quality. A lot of people come in with the idea that they want to spend $500 on a computer, and it's, sometimes that's what they want, that's what they go get, and it just doesn't happen with us. But a lot of times we like to do that education, and let the client know that you're gonna get a 3-year warranty. You're gonna get a much better build quality. You don't have to deal with these issues, and it's not so much the money that you're gonna have to shell out to fix that computer. It's that downtime that you're not making money. If this is a business client, you're not able to get done what you need to get done, even as a home user.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, Corey, are there any things that, even coming out of this, I know that there's some things coming up where, a lot of customers and stuff are going back to work. Are the things that you're going to or looking to implement in the near future to make either your business or your life easier?
Yeah, so for the most part for us, we're all the ones who turned down the business continuity conversations and having these kind of conversations. They're very open to those conversations now. So we're revisiting all of that to go have a true business, and business continuity is just not back up, right? It's how do I continue to work in the sense of we have a pandemic or we have to do those type of things. Before they like, I don't have time for that. I'm good. I don't really want to talk about it. Hey, we got to get that. But what we have to do is, now it's going back to rehab those conversations so that we can get on what that looks like to be prepared. We're doing a lot of policy, BYOD policies we're bringing back in, work from home policies we're adding up. All the things that we've been trying to implement for a while, is now really, coming back to the table to make sure that it happens. So really it's a time for us to standardize with a lot of our customers and say, here's what we've seen. This is what we know that works. And we highly recommend that you start to go down this path and be in that situation. We do see a lot of people moving from desktops, probably going to be in the laptop. We have some engineering firms that have that. So what we're seeing is those guys, because they leverage their screen so much and leverage what they do, they'll have probably a mixture of both. Because they just need to be mobile, and sometimes they need to be at the desktop to be able to do those things. So what I'm seeing now is those MSPs who spent time with their customers have gained some brain trust and some more reliability, and they say, hey, this is my guy, right? And those who haven't spent a lot of time with their customers, they're probably looking for another MSP to hang out with. So I'd say guard your customers and spend a lot of time with them.
And that's good. I've always said that from the beginning, that service in this day and age has kind of, in a lot of industries, gone by the wayside. And one of the most important things I think that any business could do at this point is nurture those relationships with their clients. And they should be doing that even during a non-pandemic time. It's just taking the time to care about somebody else is going to speak a lot to that person. And you know what? Not everything's going to work out. Even if you do spend time with a customer and something does happen where they leave and they go to somebody else, that's just life. That's the way it happens. But I think you're going to see a lot more positive out of that when you have that constant communication and you're checking in with your customer and you genuinely care about them and their business. Because at the end of the day, if they're making money doing whatever it is they're doing, and they're willing to spend money to make sure that their technology is working the way it should be, then that's a good thing, and it's a win-win situation for both parties. Jason, what types of things are you looking forward to, moving forward?
Yeah, well, we're kind of, we're a less hit area and with the COVID, so we've actually been back at work in our office for 3 weeks now. They've kind of let her. I mean, we right now have, I think, 2 or 3 active cases in our area, and we live in an area with about 175,000 people in our Tri-City area. So, I mean, we've been fortunate and lucky that it hasn't spread like crazy. I think in our area total, there's been 250-ish cases, in Northeast Tennessee. So, everybody, I was out today, went out to lunch, and, everybody, it's full swing, no change or anything. I mean, probably half and half people wearing masks. We still take precautions since we've been back. A lot of our customers feel more comfortable. We're able to get some masks and gloves and all that good stuff, and so we have all of our techs, with that in their service vehicles, and so every time they go on site, they wear masks and gloves and have the sanitizers and all that stuff. And we do have customers come by to pick up something in our office, so we'll right in front of them. We have a table set up to where we kind of corralled it off to where they can't walk into our office too far. So we got them blocked, and because sometimes people walk around our admin's desk and back through the office, and it's like we had to stop that. So we have a table and everything blocking their front door. They can basically walk inside about 5 feet, and we'll take their laptops or their desktops if they drop it off at our office for one of our help desk guys to work on. We actually clean it right there in front of them and hand it back to them, so it makes them feel a little more comfortable. And seeing this, being back a little earlier than I guess other parts of the country, it's definitely a different atmosphere. So, I mean, having everybody back and, taking those precautions with our customers, we do work for one of the local YMCAs, and they just recently, this past week, went full swing with the gym and everything. But they're still being cautious, taking temperatures, walking in the door, putting an armband on you once they do, so they know that you're taking your temperature. So making, our techs wear masks, all that good stuff. So, I mean, it's a different world. So I say moving forward here in the near future, we'll probably in our area at least be back to normal, whatever that new normal is. But everybody's already seems like they're there. I'm still cautious. I don't want to just go out in public and hang out longer than I have to. But and every time I use my card, I sanitize it and my hands and everything else. I'm taking extra precautions, but some people just don't care. So it's just they're full swing and hey, let's just go town and shop all day. So I don't know, but I see some people are still cautious, some aren't. So I'd say there's definitely going to be a new normal. So
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I've been back to work for 3 weeks now, and yeah, I'm doing absolutely nothing. I'm doing what I was taught when I was 2 years old. I wash my hands when I'm touching something. I don't put my hands in my mouth. I don't know, just the normal things that you do. Yeah, but I mean, to do the temperature scans and all that kind of stuff. I think the biggest thing that has come out of this is, especially when I was working on the assembly line years ago, I would, it was nothing for me, and I didn't get sick a whole lot. But if I had a flu, I would go into work, and yeah, I didn't go around anybody. Again, I had a hoodie on. I took a couple of Dayquil or whatever, and worked on the line for 10 hours. It basically sweated out of my system in 24 hours, but I wasn't right on top of people or anything like that either. So I think in today's day and age, if I was ever sick, which I literally haven't been sick in like 5 years, but if I was, I'm not going to go into work. I'm going to take the day off. I'm not going to potentially infect somebody just for the heck of it. Because yeah, that wouldn't be fun. So I think that's one thing, but I think a lot of common sense things I think people are doing, and I think some of them are good, and they'll help a little bit. And I think it brings people to the point where they're actually able to they're able to put something to what they're doing and be more cognizant of their surroundings and what's going on. So I think overall, I think that's a good thing. People are paying attention, so that's always a good thing, versus just not paying attention at all, which I'm sure a lot of us have seen. All right. So is there anything else that anybody here is thinking about coming out of saying? It sounds like everybody's business is pretty much business as usual. It sounds like things are working well. Obviously, there's going to be, as Jason said, the new normal. I was trying to avoid saying that, Jason. Darn you.
sorry, man.
But there is going to be these things that people are going to do a little bit differently. And, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Hopefully it in a lot of cases, it's going to work to everyone's benefit. But is there anything else that you guys see moving forward that we haven't touched on today that maybe people need to be thinking about at this point?
I'll jump in on this. I think looking at some of the positives that we've been kind of forced into here. For me, right when this started happening, I knew in a worst case scenario, I'm going to work on those things that I should have done 6 months ago. So I'm very excited to hopefully be able to open things back up in our shop to be able to take customers' computers in, and we'll have the procedures that put into place to sanitize everything. But it's the things that I've learned and accomplished even in this time, the short time that we've been closed. Hopefully that's going to help the business in the long run. I think looking at those positives of got our website updated, we got processes documented, implemented some services that's going to help our customers in the long run. So I think that those are things that hopefully if you've done those, look at that positive side. If you haven't and you guys are still kind of locked down, then definitely still have some time to implement those if you have that downtime. And fortunately or unfortunately, I've been able to have that downtime.
That's good. Corey, what about you?
No, I agree with everything. Is taking advantage of the positive things that we've had, and actually not rushing back to be busy. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
What has allowed us to do is that sometimes I think we make ourselves more busier than we need to be or than we are. So we always think we have to fill that day with everything and anything. So what has really been good for me is being able to understand that, hey, I can still take the time, do what I need to get done, and continue to be productive, and not wait for another pandemic to get all my processes done. So I think there's better ways to do that, and I think we've learned that. But catch up, do what we got to get done, and then what I've also done is one of the reasons why I'm glad to be on the call here with that is I always say reach out to fellow MSPs and other people in the business, because when one coughs, we all get the cold. I think we're all feeling it. And if you're a guy's an owner or around and you don't have that peer group or not associated with anything, sometimes you feel like, man, you're the only one in the world having these challenges. And I think that's not true. And we were talking earlier about all the chatter we see on Facebook groups and how many we're in. Just reach out to someone and just say, hey, man, I'm here for you if you need me. And so that's what's been really good is how we all come together.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of those things that that's why we continue to do this podcast is just to be there for people. And that's always been our number one goal. We just want, because I think a lot of times people can get stuck in their own heads and not understand that there are other people, like you said, that have that are going through the same things. Nothing is new. Everything has been gone through by many, many people well before I was born. So, and that will continue to go through the end of time. But yeah, get around community, get around people, not physically, but virtually you can all the time, and reach out, especially being not only it's not just U.S. but globally. I mean, we're in this global economy where anybody can listen to the show and pick up information, and we've got people from literally all over the world that listen to this thing, and it's just it amazes me. So, all right, Jason, any other positive things that or anything we haven't talked about that you want to mention before we get on out of here?
As far as pandemic stuff, planning ahead. I mean, we tell our customers this all the time. I've seen on Facebook a lot, people having a hard time, and thank goodness for PPP helps out a lot of people for sure. But there may not be that next time around. So we really got to be planning for our futures. And luckily, my wife works in the business. You've met Rachel. So Rachel really is, she's our accountant. She used to be CPA, all that stuff. So she's put back a lot of money in her business to where it didn't affect us that much. So, plan ahead, business continuities, not only, backups, as Corey said there, there's a lot more to it. Make sure you have those things and processes in place. Make sure you got that little extra savings account on the side that you don't even know is there, you don't touch for your business. Make sure you can get through a month or two of, expenses and stuff like that, payroll, all that good stuff you have. Positive thing going forward is, we're going to definitely make sure that we expand that to have even more money next time, to make sure that we've got that savings account there. So, we're in great shape so far, so can't complain. Very blessed and, positive. Just keep it going. So
Very good. Yeah, and as far as I think they call that having a runway for your business, and basically, this is just my opinion, and you can go online and read many different opinions and things about this, but basically, if you're running a business, you can't run it as most U.S. households are run, which is week to week, sometimes even day to day.
exactly.
But you really need to have probably a 6-month runway, which means that and you're not going to do this overnight, so don't get overwhelmed with this proposition, but you're going to need to have 6 months. You're going to be able to need to pay for 6 months of expenses, whether that be employees, tools, et cetera, so that when things do happen, because it's not only things like this, but you have to think about it from an owner standpoint, and especially if you don't have employees. There's a lot of single business owners out there that are doing this thing, and if you get sick and you're down for a couple months for whatever, and it could be anything, you need to be able to have that. You need to be able to, keep your business afloat for that period of time. So, and especially with employees and stuff like that, you want those good employees to stay around. And it's like any relationship, just like the relationship with your spouse, they want to know that they're secure and safe and have a place to go. So, when when you're taking care of the back end of your business like that, it goes a long way to speak of, the type of integrity and the type of solid business plans that you have. So, all right. Well, I think that has been, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out today and talking about what's going on in your business, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I think we've seen a lot of good things come out of this thing. And I love the advice that was given. Keep looking forward, keep moving forward, keep doing the things that, are, taking the breaks and time for yourself and time for employees and stuff like that. Building those relationships with your customers, your employees, et cetera. I think these are all good things. And yeah, don't just go back to the way business used to be. Use this as a stepping stone to where you are, a platform where you can move forward and make it even better than it was before. So before we get on out of here, Corey, I appreciate you coming out today. And if people wanted to get in touch with you or, contact you, where would they do that?
Yeah, just reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. If you go out to Facebook, that's how you hide stuff from me. I don't go out there because I can't handle getting off, and so I don't. I get out there every now and then, or just email me at ckirkend@5ktech.com, and I'll drop that out on the thing as well. Appreciate it, Jeff and Kyle and Jason. Thanks for the chat, man. It's been good. Nice to meet you guys, and this has been great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been awesome. All right, and Kyle, if people want to get in touch with you, where would they do that?
You can do that at Kyle@protechguy.com. I spend way too much time on Facebook, so I'll be on there. I definitely got to step my LinkedIn game up. I was actually working on my profile the other day, so hopefully spend a little bit of time over there. But yeah, I appreciate the chat with you guys, and thanks, Jeff, for all that you do for the community.
Appreciate it, and thanks for coming out, especially on a Sunday night. You guys are awesome. And Mr. Jason Miller, if people wanted to find you, where could they go?
Yeah, of course, I'm on Facebook way too much too. Usually only at nighttime. I have all kinds of people that are chatting with me all the time. But so look me up on Facebook, or if you want to email me, it's jason@unbounddigital.net. So anytime.
All right, very good. And we'll have links to all those in the show notes. And yeah, Facebook is one of those things. So I didn't realize this, but the Samsung S20 actually has Facebook loaded on the phone, and you can't take it off. You can disable it, but you can't take it off. So I've kind of gone back and forth. I've disabled it. I'll turn it back on. I'll disable it, turn it back on. So basically the way I got it now is I've got all notifications shut off on my phone, on my desktop, everything. And I can either go to my browser and go to Facebook specifically because I'm going there to do something, or I want to peruse and I've got the time to waste. Yes, I did say waste. And I'll go ahead and do that. Or I will take my phone and I can do the same thing. I've got Facebook Messenger on there and everything like that too. So I'm always available. I don't always get back right away because, like I said, my notifications are shut off. But if I see something from somebody, I will always comment or, say something back. So you can definitely get a hold of me that way. I'm just not on there as prolifically as I used to be because it was way too much. It's like a rabbit hole, man. You just go down and you can't stop. Alice, where are you? So anyways, all right. Appreciate you guys. If you want to, and Paco will be back with us next week. He had some things he had to take care of at home this week, and we did miss him. But you can come join us every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch live and hang out in the chat room over on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and your favorite podcasting app to never miss an episode. Do both of those. It's a good thing. And I want to thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.